wonder why Jesus was baptized in Jordan? Ever wonder why he did that? Maybe because everyone else was, right? Just following the crowd, everyone else was getting baptized, but not, so you'd like you to do it too? Perhaps we should start with this question. Why are we baptized? What do you think? Why are we baptized? Serge, why do we baptize babies? Or why do we baptize adults?
So they can take communion.
So they can take communion. That's a very, very practical answer. Okay? Looking for something a little more theological, okay? A little more theological. No, but that's true, right? So they can take communion, but what is it that baptism does that we believe should have to happen in order for them to come and approach the chalice for communion, or any of us?
To cleanse.
To cleanse, right? Okay, so that's right. So it's water, right? So the symbol of water is about like washing things away, right? And so what is the filth that's washing away, right?
Sins.
Yeah, sins, right? So it's washing sins away, right? That's what people usually think of, right? You have baptism to cleanse you from sins, right? I mean, that's what's going on in the gospel with John, the forerunner, right? He's baptizing people for the remission of sins. But there's something a whole lot more going on. Because John says, you know, I think this was the gospel reading we had at the evening liturgy that we did, where we did the chrismation for Mark. It was, you know, I baptize you with water for the remission of sins, but someone else will come to baptize you with fire. You know, so there's a whole lot more going on in baptism than just the remission of sins. We have a baptism of fire, or the reception of the Holy Spirit, right? That we receive through the mystery of baptism and chrismation. But we should ask ourselves, if we're being cleansed, then why do infants, right? Why do they need to be baptized? Now, as Orthodox, we don't believe in original sin, right? We don't believe that, like many Roman Catholics do, that, or at least officially, that we inherit the guilt, even though we didn't do the crimes or the sins of our ancestors. We inherit the guilt of Adam, the guilt of Eve, and so we're guilty even though we didn't do anything. Okay? That's original sin, right? We don't, as Orthodox, believe in that. We believe in the consequences of sin, right? That because of sin, death entered into the world, and all the consequences that go with living in a world where things die and kind of fall apart, right? So why are babies baptized? They don't have any personal sins that need to be cleansed or forgiven. Well, you see, baptism is a whole lot more than just the forgiveness of sins. So that's a very important part of it. But there's something more fundamental that undergirds baptism. Both our baptism and this is the reason that Christ is baptized in the Jordan. Because he too does not have any sins that need to be forgiven. Do you guys anyone know what epistle reading is read for when we do a baptism? It's an epistle from Paul where it talks about, you know, you have been baptized with Christ, you've been baptized into his death, right? So the font becomes a tomb where you're buried in it, right? And you come out of it alive and reborn. So baptism isn't just about forgiveness of sins, it's also about what? Rebirth, right? It's about new birth, it's about new life. And it's about identification with Christ. Or more clearly, being